Okie dokie, this is my second recording of the day, and I'm gonna see if, man, for some reason my computer keeps having trouble with how much storage space I have, even though that doesn't make any sense because I have a huge hard drive on there, but it's just that where it's trying to go to is not that backup hard, that second hard drive, and I'm trying to see if I can get it to, oh man. Storing the, so look at my direction is automatically stabilizing here. I gotta turn float on. Now that float's on, it will only change the vector when I apply a thrust input. So anyways, I forget what I wanted to talk about, but I wanted to talk some more about this game and my game controller because I'm trying to talk about my game controller. So everybody who reviews this game, they play arcade mode and nobody plays the simulation mode. And some people, and I'm going to talk about, man, I just forgot his name all of a sudden. I was just thinking about his name, but he's this space YouTuber. And I really know his name really well. It doesn't make any sense at all that I forgot it, but Scott Manley. So anyways, he says, well, I want to play the simulation mode, but I'm going to get all confused and I won't be able to fly it, and I'm just going to play the arcade mode for now. So actually, there's not anybody on the internet that I saw demonstrating our simulation mode. And I'm really convinced that what's going on here is that nobody has an intuitive way to pilot the Orbital Racer. So people play a lot of different space games, but basically the person who has the intuitive game controller is neck deep in another game, I guess, but I don't know how many people are actually playing true Newtonian in a game quite like this. There is some clubs of people who do it in the some of these other games like Elite Dangerous, but that Elite Dangerous physics is just not for me. You can't yaw. So like yaw is when you go like this way, crashing to the side or to the other side. Yeah, so I'm yawing right now. Okay, so I gotta stop here. I'm gonna miss the gate. Alright, so my game controller has 4 joysticks on it, and on the top left joystick is my up and my down and my left and my right. Okay, and then on the right stick, okay, so there's my direction, I'm barely going, is the turn left, turn right, and turn up, and turn down. Okay, so I'm not going forward at all yet. Okay, so my forward motion, where's my next gate, is the left trigger. I pull it, and if I want to go backwards, then I push the trigger. So if I pull it, then I accelerate forward. So now I'm using the right stick to change my direction that I'm pointing in, my attitude, and then to roll is my right trigger, and it pulls left and right to roll. Now I could put the roll and the accelerate on the same stick, which is actually my plan one day. So these games have a functionality where you have the VR headset and then you can look all these directions, but if you don't have the VR headset, you could set your view onto a joystick. So Infinity Battlescape works that way. And Infinity Battlescape is pretty cool, but the navigation practice just isn't in there, and the internet connection, I don't have the internet connection that'll do a good job there, so I just don't have a good internet connection is the real reason why I can't really make much use of that Infinity Battlescape right now. And then anyways, I'll be able to put the view on the, I'm thinking the right trigger, and my left trigger finger will always be running the throttle and the roll, which at first is a little confusing, but I think it would get pretty intuitive after I spend enough time practicing with on the split triggers, where each trigger is only pulling one direction or the other. That way, while I'm kind of learning, if I kind of push on the other axis, like a little bit, like kind of sloppy and pull in random directions, it won't do anything because it's only up and down on one stick and left and right on the other. And then later, when my trigger fingers get a little bit more coordinated, I'll be able to switch to having the screen rotate around on the right trigger. So I'll have 3 sticks of motion in one stick. It doesn't change the orientation of the craft at all, but allows me to see mostly up is what I'm thinking would be the realistic option, because these crafts always see up. And I think that seeing up is a realistic prospect, because you want to think, well, why not fly like a TIE fighter in space where you only see forward? And well, the thing about that is you don't, in a racing craft like this, you know, it's that, you know, in space, in deep space, you're not turning quickly or anything like that. You're orbiting and you're achieving an orbital velocity, and there's lots of time to look around, and then you're going to set your velocity, then you're going to set your thrust, and you're going to sit at that thrust for a really long time. And that's not how this game is going to work. And if you're kind of cruising a drone around the space station, for example, out in space, like maybe they get the Astro Bee out there and you get to race it, it's not going to work like that either. You're going to be in orbit around the planet with the space station, and you're not going to do these big, long, drawn-out maneuvers. You're going to do little maneuvers just like this racing game right here. It's going to be exactly the same. You're going to accelerate to like a few meters per second, and that's it. You're not going to go that fast, and you're not going to go that far. You're just going to go really slow, and it's going to be exciting because of how close you are to your obstacles. Anyways, being able to look up would allow you to turn your head in a logical direction in space, and it would allow you to look at a 45-degree angle from between where you're coming from and where you're going to. So when you set your rear engine pointed at that direction, the attitude, when you set your attitude so that your rear engine will both cancel your velocity in the direction of travel and accelerate you in the desired direction of travel, you'll be able to see everything that's out in front of you. And so you'll be able to see your target, see your everything that you're trying to aim for, where you're going and stuff like that, because where you're going is not going to be directly in front of your ship. Alright, so I'm seeing a little bit of that frame rate going on here, so hopefully that's going to work out okay. At any rate, another benefit of having the look on a joystick is that you can drive a turret like that. So in Infinity Battlescape, it's a weapons game, and you could fly a turret. You can fly your boat around and then have a turret or a targeting cursor or any number of things that you might want to have on a cursor, and then you can just run it with that one finger. So I always make the same comment in every video, and since I don't have any viewers, but then again, on the off chance that somebody does watch them, they're not going to watch all of them, they're only going to watch one. So I'm going to go ahead and make the excuse that, you know, I'm flying like I must be driving to the grocery store through a neighborhood full of children, even though this is a racetrack. But I'm doing that because I'm not very good at the game, and I'm just trying to improve my coordination with these. Oh man, I'm gonna miss this gate. I missed it. Tried to get turned around, but I didn't. And my objective with making these videos is not to stream my gameplay, but the game controller that I'm playing on right now, which is my 4joystick game controller, is an Arduino contraption that I built out of some plywood, some breadboards, some wires, some resistors, some joysticks that I bought for Arduino, and some buttons that I bought for Arduino, and the whole thing costs a couple of dollars in total, but it's not a proper game controller, and I'm not really ready to try. Oh, I got hit by another player. I'm not really ready to try to make a, we'll call it a prototype, molded plastic, you know, arranged the buttons all in the right places, and everything is really nice. I'd rather just buy one made by somebody like Xbox or something like that, or you know, whatever game controller maker. And I'm so convinced that this is such an intuitive way to play a game like this, and that a lot of people would want to try it, that I just think that a manufacturer, they would just all take it up right away, and you'd be able to buy one for $50, you know, maybe 100 at first. And then it would have extra buttons all over the place, and you'd get to figure out which buttons are the ones anyone can actually use. I don't see the thumb pads being the thing. I see the other 4 fingers coming into play. And traditionally, the coordination of the other fingers was this whole thing. And you know, back in the day, people played one joystick and one button, and man, they would get that backwards. You know what I'm talking about? I would hear about it from Grandpa or something. But we're just not there anymore, and everybody can play Halo and drive the truck in one stick and point the gun in the other and reach around and hit all those buttons at the same time. And it's not a video gamer. That's an average person has that competency. A video gamer is going to have a very high level of competency and would be able to take up new buttons just right away.